Hello. Today on this Monday Movie Talk, we're recapping the box office, also talking about the brand new Mulan trailer, and then on top of that, the San Diego Comic-Con 2019 schedule is here. There is a lot to know about this schedule, but in particular, because this is Collider Movie Talk, we are focusing on all the must-see movie panels, and it is a special day because the one and only John Rocha's here.
Thank you so much.
I feel like
I'm living that red cup life.
I always give you a crap introduction because you're always paired with a great guest, and I'm just so used to being graced with your presence on a Monday. So Rocha, as always, is holding down the fort on a Monday. But Mr. Mark Ellis.
Hello. Good to be back.
Welcome back. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
You had all the Coors Light in the world.
I got close to all the Coors Light in the world thanks to all the birthday wishes. Everybody had a nice little celebration yesterday. I am now 1 year older than our own Dorian Parks. So good to outpace him.
All right, guys, we got a lot to run through today, and we had so much that we're just going to do a brief box office recap up top here. Just a reminder, these are the 3-day numbers. Certain movies were in the theaters for the extended weekend, but 3-day numbers. Topping the charts, we had Spider-Man Far From Home, which made $92.6 million. Then coming in at number 2 was Toy Story 4 with $33.9 million. Yesterday took the 3 spot with $10.1 million. Rocha's all happy about that.
Yeah.
4 went to Annabelle Comes Home, which held on better than I thought it would. Very good for that one, $9.5 million. And finally, still Aladdin in the top 5 with $7.5 million. Yay for holiday weekend monies. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. We are talking about the Mulan trailer. It dropped over the weekend, and it is the very first look that we're getting at this new film. Yet another Disney live-action adaptation. So you guys catch this. What did you think?
I caught it, Rocha. Yep. I caught it. And look, I said this 2 years ago, and I said it a year ago, and after watching this trailer, I'm going to say it again. I think that this movie has the chance to be the highest grossing film in the history of box office worldwide, because this is a global event movie. It can make a lot of money. It might do what Avatar Avengers Endgame is doing. I think it's got that kind of backing behind it. Most expensive live-action movie Disney's ever attempted, and the first returns, for me anyway, I thought it looked cool. A lot of action. I like the action.
Having the worldwide box office in mind is a very good point. I still think you might be reaching with this one a little bit.
I did Beauty and the Beast, and I got damn close to $200 million
That's
movie.
Fair. That's fair. You're never going to let me forget it, and I won't, because you made a good call on that one. I thought this looked great. I'm so excited to see where they started with this. This thing is beautiful. The cinematography at the very beginning is what struck me the most. But then when they start to get into the meat of the story, and you have that voiceover talking about how they're going to set Mulan up with someone else, and it starts to play while we see her fight. Is there any other better way to sell what this story is than to have that kind of pairing right there? Because that to me was chill-inducing.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it to pieces. But you ask if there's any other way. Certainly, there's people on the internet complaining about not having the songs or not having Mushu the Dragon, but this is a live action interpretation that's different. It's a more serious tone, which I think is the right way to take on this. You know, when Mulan came out, in 98? It was just over 20 years ago. The idea of female empowerment and having someone in charge, like do this and hide as a man and then come out as this was a concept that was revolutionary back then. Now, over the last few years, we've seen women take center stage in a lot of these franchises, a lot of these properties. So you don't want to go back and tell a story that's 20 years old. You want to tell one that fits topically now. And I think this is the right approach for this version of Mulan. I loved that. We didn't get goofiness. We didn't get dumb jokes. We got a straightforward situation where a young girl is in this regimented society, needs a new way to break out. And I love that they use the lines that they're using to pitch her as a wife to pitch her as a warrior. And that's great.
I think that this movie, look, I'm coming at this, even back when I used to know the movie news every day, I was a pretty dumb guy. And now I come at it from a totally ignorant point of view because I have never seen the 1998 Mulan, which is shocking because I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan. So I need to check that out just for my own personal enjoyment. But I think that the problem you're going to run into with this movie potentially is if they ditch the Disney source material too far and it becomes a different movie, because you do need to do that with live action. action. And I think it's a good choice to not have them singing songs in the film. But if you depart too much from what fans know, they might rebel in the same way that we've seen comic book fans rebel against movies that don't treat the source material with the proper respect.
It is a fascinating predicament to be in, just because we've seen a little bit of everything, beginning with Maleficent, which went the prequel route, and then of course we have The Lion King coming out soon that we're going to see really soon. And that one, I for one have been praising that one because The Lion King is my favorite Disney classic animated movie, and based on what we've seen so far, that almost looks like a shot-for-shot remake, and it's thrilling me. But at the same time, as somebody who appreciates creative approaches to adapting material to screen or however else you're going to change it, I do understand you need to you got to change it up a little. There's only so many times you can rinse, wash, repeat the same story the same exact way.
I wonder if Disney is doing that on purpose. I wonder if they just looked at their slate a couple of years ago and said, okay, we're going to do The Lion King the exact same way that you know The Lion King. And then when fans have that predictable backlash of, it's just the same movie, just with CGI animals, now we're going to give you Mulan. It's going to be a totally different movie. No dragon in this one, kiddies.
Well, that could be a suiting thing to have a little variety in the slate, have a little something that, hits the right place to evoke all that nostalgia. And then when you have certain stories that do need a little bit of an update and maybe a fresh tone to it, then do something a little different. And also, let's not forget, this was a first trailer. This was a teaser trailer. There could be things that are more reminiscent of the original movie that we just haven't seen yet.
Well, we've seen reports that they've removed a couple of characters, changed some of the stories. The songs are going to be instrumentals and not sung. So you're going to have that. And there is no dragon. And that's okay with me. You know what? The dragon lives still in the 98 version. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not extricating the dragon.
Oh, thank goodness. He doesn't eat it at the end of that movie.
I don't know. I don't want to ruin it for you, Mark. You've got 2 decades to watch it. But yeah.
Give me another week.
We need you to watch the original Mulan and then come back and review it on the show.
I'd be happy to do that, because even if the dragon did, everybody in Mulan could eat it in the 1998 one. Is not going to do what I'm predicting The Lion King does to me tomorrow when I see it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because
you'll be a mess.
I'm going to excuse myself to the rest area when I smell that scene coming.
I'm just curious to see how this movie will do, getting back to Mulan, will do in China, because the animated version did not do well in China. And I wonder if maybe Disney had some maybe informal conversations about what works, what doesn't. Because I was going back and reading an article from 1998. Even Jack Valenti flew to China to talk to the Chinese government officials about smoothing the path for Mulan to be shown there. But it still didn't do that well because of the Kundun controversy that was happening around Disney, them doing a film on the Dalai Lama. So, okay, this is all removed. Have they removed the songs? Have they removed this all to make it more palatable for the Chinese market?
I don't know that this movie, that the animated Mulan, was made for a global audience.
Disney's always been global.
I don't know that Disney had that in mind in the way that they have it in mind now, because you see studios that purposely make movies and they don't even care what they do here because they know that there's a global marketplace for it. So I think that they're looking at this maybe along the lines of a Transformers, and just hopefully it's a lot better. Sorry.
Certainly cast specifically correct, not, facially as opposed to voiceover wise, which wasn't, because, Eddie's not.
My mind is
Chinese.
Just blown that we've ended this conversation in a place where you just compared Mulan to Transformers.
That's my bad, everybody. Sorry.
I can live with that. All right, before we get on to our conversation where we break down every single movie that's having a big panel at San Diego Comic-Con, we have to tell you about some very special panels. So first up, Cobra Kai. Yes, I know this is a movie show and that is a TV show, but it is really exciting because I'm going to be hosting the Cobra Kai panel in freaking Ballroom 20 on Thursday, the 18th at 4:45 p.m. So I hope you guys are in the audience and you check it out. I still can't believe that's a real thing that's happening.
That is so exciting.
That is so weird to me. It's just, I'll never forget my first time stepping into both Hall H and Ballroom 20 and thinking that is the peak of the top of Comic-Con living. I don't know. It's just so weird that I'm going to get to stand on that stage and look at people and probably schwitz and panic, but then it will be fine. I promise, Cobra Kai people, it will be fine.
Come back. She's going to be in an ivory tower. She's not going to look us in the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other thing is, after that panel goes over so well, you know what I have to do? I've got to celebrate with a couple drinks and some laughs. Because guess what's happening that night?
That's right. Yeah, I'm doing a stand-up at American Comedy Company in the Gaslamp District right there near the convention center. 2 shows, 7:30 and 9:30. You can get tickets at markellislive.com. It says special guests. There's a lot of special guests. It's a great lineup. Some super special guests are going to pop in there too. So grab your tickets right now. They're dirt cheap. And Perri, while we're on air, I just wanted to quickly ask somebody who could be on the 9:30 lineup, if you'd like to do a set. You did a set last year on my show. We got room for you. You got 5 minutes you can dust off?
I think I might have 5 minutes I can dust off because I've got a wedding that weekend, so I won't be at Comic-Con, but I might find my way down to San Diego for the 9:30 show. I think I can give you 5 to 10 minutes.
That's pretty exciting, Perri, because when Rocha says he's dusting off 5 minutes, that means he's doing 11 on stage.
At least.
I feel like I shouldn't eat anything before that set there.
That's a very good inside joke.
I only have a sad transition to get from that to our next announcement because that means you're not going to be there on Sunday for the Collider panel.
Yeah.
We are having our own panel. It's in Hall H, not Hall H, but it's in the main convention center, upstairs, room 6DE on Sunday, July 20th. I know for sure I'm going to be there. Coy's going to be there. Amy's going to be there. And then similar, we're taking a cue from Mark Ellis. We're going to say we have special guests. There will be additional very special Collider guests there. So please come join us. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to do a whole bunch of Q&A with you guys. So I hope you're in the room for that event. And now, oh my, so much to cover at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. All right, I'm going to run through the list first, but then you got to listen and pay attention to what I'm reading to you because you have to pick what you're looking forward to most. You ready? All right. Wednesday night, Scare Diego.
I feel like I'm on a game show. I'm really nervous right now.
You better pick the right answer.
I'd much rather have you read stuff to me than me read myself.
Thursday at 11 a.m., the Terminator Dark Fate trailer. Then back-to-back Friday morning, beginning at 10 a.m., we have Writing Avengers Endgame with the writers of Endgame. And then after that, it is Steve Weintraub's panel, a conversation with the Russo brothers. Moving into Saturday, we have at 5:15 at the Horton Grand. That's where Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is going to be. That was the wrong time.
Ooh.
I'll figure out the right time in a minute because at 5:15 for real is the Marvel Studios panel in Hall H where, fingers crossed, we get all these great surprises about Phase 4. All right.
Look, if this is a fantasy draft, I'm drafting Marvel.
I dare you to pick anything else at this point. By the way, I believe the Scary Stories panel is actually at 4 o'clock.
And I think Dark Fate might be at a different time than Friday at 10 a.m.
No, I said Thursday.
Okay, according
Thursday
to the graphic, it said Friday, which it would be really interesting to see them do the Dark Fate panel at the same time they do the Russo Brothers panel. I think
we have a copy-paste problem.
And the reason why I bring up the Dark Fate panel is because I like a movie that we're excited about, but we're not really sure if this is going to be quality or it's going to be garbage. I like when those kind of movies kick off on a Thursday at Hall H because you feel like you're getting your reps in before the big panel on Saturday afternoon. So I think Dark Fate could be really exciting. Like, if Arnold shows up, if Linda Hamilton's there, if Jim Cameron wants to come by, that could be a fun panel to be at.
This is a really big deal for them in particular. It's like when I look at all the titles, I mean, sadly, you guys know how much I love Guillermo and Andre Overdahl, but I think Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark might be like a teeny bit screwed just because it is immediately before the most anticipated movie panel of the entire event in Marvel, but I do think that Terminator Dark Fate, like, this is their opportunity. I don't want to necessarily compare it to Mad Max Fury Road, but, like, you know what I mean? Where that movie, everyone's like, I don't know about this. And then they saw the footage at Comic-Con and it was like, whoa, look at what they had cooking all along. This could be their moment for that same moment for Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. I mean, the idea of Schwarzenegger walking out onto a Hall H stage, I know no matter how old that man is or whatever goes on in his world, people love him. And so when he comes out, I guarantee the stage will explode. And I love that. And of course, Linda Hamilton as well. People love her in that mythology and in that franchise. And I think it's going to be great to see all these other great new actors who are involved in this come out and get a little bit of love from the Hall H panel. I mean, Perri talks about hosting it in Ballroom 20, what it must be like to be a guest, to walk out on that stage, see all those people cheering on for a movie you hope catches on with them and does well and kind of reboots the franchise. But yes, Marvel is a choice. I know it's movie talk, but I would throw in the Picard one as well. I'm crazy. I wish I could, because that's the one I'm really kicking myself that I'm going to miss.
So Jean-Luc's got new adventures, huh?
in a winery. So we'll see what happens.
In a winery. I would actually pay to get drunk with Jean-Luc Picard. Look, the MCU panel is the reason why you go to Comic-Con on Saturday, but I think that the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark panel could be really cool, and that actually might be the one I end up attending because of time commitments later for the movie Trivia Schmodown at 8:30, which you can get tickets for.
Well, if the special event that I went to for Scary Stories with Haley recently is any indication, they're gonna bring footage, and the footage is cool. And also another cool thing about Scary Stories is the way that they describe it in the official SDCC program is they call it an intimate masterclass, basically an intimate masterclass in monster making with Andre Overdahl and Guillermo del Toro. So I imagine anyone in that audience is in for a treat, even if that means you can't make it to the Marvel panel. But we're looking at this list. You brought up Picard, and of course I'm really excited about the Star Trek presence in the Hall H2, but we look at this list and there's not all that much studio movie content on the lineup this year. Do you see that as a bummer and a sign for the future, or are we just in, a little bit of a lull and then it'll go back to the San Diego Comic-Con we know and love next year?
Well, what's interesting for me is that the sign of the future you would think would be Marvel and the MCU stepping away from it because they have D23 where they can promote their stuff. I thought that DC and Warner Brothers would be all over it this year because engaged in Hall H because they have so many variety of movies coming out. You have everything from Joker to Wonder Woman 1984 next summer, and it's like, why wouldn't you come to Comic-Con and get people excited about that? That leaves a lot of question marks in my mind.
Especially on the heels of Shazam doing so well, Aquaman doing so well. You want to keep the fan base riled up and excited and looking forward for the stuff you're bringing. Sony, I also think, isn't doing the greatest to skip it a little bit and not be there with their Spider-Verse stuff on the success of Venom. Spider-Man Far From Home just came out. I know it's a Marvel thing, but it's a Sony character, so it's like you've got momentum you can build.
Well, even something like Charlie's Angels. Bring the three of them out on stage. I bet people, especially with how Twilight changed the game for movies at Comic-Con, you would think that having Kristen Stewart there would be a big win for them. But, thinking less like a fan who absolutely adores San Diego Comic-Con and more, from the business standpoint, I wonder if they're basically running the numbers and saying, if we spend that much, how much is it actually going to get us in the long run? Because Comic-Con is a very, very expensive event to attend. So I wonder if the smarter money spending decision at this point is to, one, not attend at all, or put your focus on maybe your own event.
What has the chance to steal the entire weekend is what's playing Wednesday night, which is the Scare Diego Chapter 2.
I love that event.
Probably not the whole movie. If they show the whole movie, they win Comic-Con.
The first year that they were there, actually it was the first year that they did Scare Diego at all. It was in 2017 for it, and they made a whole lot of noise there. I think at the time we had only seen, they showed maybe 2 or 3 short clips, and then it was more about, I think they screened either Annabelle Creation or one of the new Conjuring movies, but one way or the other, they have an epic ensemble attached to that cast. All they have to do is usher out the adults and the kids, and people are going to go nuts. And those, social media videos are going to circulate like crazy. And then hopefully they show a really iconic scene from the source material. I don't know if they're going to show this one, but I have my fingers crossed for the Chinese restaurant scene with the fortune cookies.
That sounds like somebody who read the book.
It's it's just hands down one of my favorite scenes in that book. And if they do that right, that could really win a lot of people over in an instant. I
saw the trailer, the teaser trailer with the the naked old lady running around getting cookies, and it played so well. I saw it in a theater for the first time last week. I was seeing Midsommar, and I was in there and I'm watching it. And the earthquake went 50 minutes into the movie, so I haven't seen the end of Midsommar. But just watching that Chapter 2 trailer, everybody got really excited for that. And then I also saw a Collider review for a movie called The Lodge that looks awesome, and Alicia Silverstone's in it. Everything I want in a movie. Did
you really?
Yeah. They said Collider says it's really scary. I can't remember what the review was, but Collider was mentioned.
Said that.
I
love that movie. I saw it. I reviewed it out of Sundance.
And Collider says Dewey held his eyes shut.
If I could get that as a full quote on something, I would pull all the strings to make that happen.
I'll give you that if Disney gives me on the Mulan poster. Mark Ellis says this could be the next Transformers.
Perfect.
I'm rusty.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go for that. But, one can dream.
I wouldn't do that either.
So you never saw the end of Midsommar?
No, I'm 15 minutes in and I'm totally locked in, but everybody tells me that it just goes off the rails in the last hour and a half. So
Okay.
No surprise.
Rocha, did you see Midsummer?
I did not see Midsummer. I unfortunately had another commitment that night, so I couldn't make the
another
screening.
wedding in Portland.
Well, I'm going to force you guys to answer this question anyway.
Sure.
J. Scott for real in the live chat is asking, would anyone want to see a sequel to Midsummer or a follow-up revealing it's set in the same world as Hereditary? As someone who doesn't know the ending of the movie, I am genuinely curious to know what you think.
I want to see the sequel to the movie I got to see.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see the last hour and a half of it. But I was starting to put pieces together watching it and thinking, from what I saw, that there is a way that you could tie this into Hereditary. But I didn't necessarily need it to satisfy me in that movie. But if you did a sequel, I'd be on board for it.
I would believe that, in other parts of the world, these stories take place in the same existence. But yeah, I doubt that Ari Aster is the kind of director who's going to reveal another one where like secretly they crossed paths at one time or
Like a
something.
Shyamalan kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. But
Yeah.
I just find it like I don't really care what he makes next, and if it has anything to do with Midsummer or Hereditary, all I care about is that those two movies are so freaky in like completely different ways, and he shows such great range with those two movies visually, from a storytelling, from a character development perspective, that I know that whatever he touches next, he's going to have a super disturbing spin on it, and it probably won't look anything like Hereditary or Midsummer.
You want to go see it?
Midwinter is what the sequel will be called.
Okay. I
like
Get
that.
it? You get it? I got there.
Are you going to use that one
Like
during your Comic-Con set?
Yeah, I am. That's going to be funny. But I'm going to put some more around us, more context. It'll be funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't open with it, but it's nice meat in the middle of
You know
your
what? That's
comedy
why you try
sandwich.
about early, so you get them right on the night. No, but this is, I would be, anything. I echo everything Perry said. Ari is absolutely like it's what's so great about the horror genre now. There's so many interesting talents walking into it and creating incredibly new ways to approach horror that isn't the old tropes, and that's fantastic to watch.
You always
honestly.
find some way to praise horror and then throw it under the bus for me.
Yeah, but slashers, man, can't do it.
Well,
Everything else.
speaking of slashers, here's another question from Zeno Hour. We have to talk about this one because this person is asking, will they talk about Samuel L. Jackson joining the cast of the Saw reboot? What is happening with this franchise? If years ago, or even let's say when Jigsaw came out, if you told me that one day we're going to get a new Saw installment with Chris Rock spearheading, I'd be like, you are crazy. That's never happened. Then would you ever imagine a Saw movie with Samuel L. Jackson in it? No, that's not possible. And look what we're getting right now. This is crazy. I don't know what to make of it. Like, I really can't even put the pieces together in a way that makes any sense whatsoever.
You had me at Chris Rock, and you're never going to lose me at Samuel L. Jackson. So I know I admit I hadn't seen Mulan. You know what else I haven't seen? Any of the Saws.
Wow.
Dude.
Not one of them.
No.
Not a one.
You're a genre fan. What have you been doing?
I'm a genre fan, Perry, but it's a big genre, Rocha.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I know that Saw tends towards the more like violent, look at how we can kill people. And I don't really like that as much as I like the more psychological terror stuff of The Witch and
Saw
The
is
Exorcist.
a classic, though. Like Jigsaw is a classic slasher, an
I hear good
iconic slasher at this point. And also, I do think, they're all obviously very gory. It goes along with the premise, but I think they kind of kick that into high gear with all the sequels. But the original one is more of like a mind, more so than it is about like, look at all this gore. But it's very gory too.
And Danny Glover's in that one, the original, right? And Carrie Elwes.
Yes.
So, who's Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson to be snooty about being part of a Saw movie? So, if those gentlemen can be in it, they can be in it, damn it. Samuel will be in anything. He was Snakes on a Plane. Where's he getting his nose high and mighty? It works. It's perfect
he
for Saw.
enjoys getting checked.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice
I
to
think
see.
it works.
Nice to see Carrie in Stranger Things 3.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I quite
Yeah.
enjoyed
I'm
the
4 episodes
entire
in, so I don't know what
season.
happened.
Mayor Klein.
How far are you in?
4 episodes in.
What do you spend your days watching? Sports?
The
He
inside of my
sleeps. He
eyelid.
sleeps a lot.
And it feels so good.
I got a list for you. This is not okay.
Send me the list. This
All
is
right, all right.
because as soon as the Women's World Cup ended, I'm like, okay, now I have some free time before I really get locked back into sports when Hard Knocks training camp starts. So
Raiders.
this is the time to get me to watch movies, Perry.
All right, deal. And I leave that on the table too. If and when the time comes that you watch the animated Mulan movie,
I'm in.
That's when you come back to set and we'll do a little mini review. All right.
Sign me up. Where's the contract?
I just feel like I need to, every single time you come on the show, just like put a pin in some future appearance just so I can guarantee you'll come back to us.
This is Perry's version of Costanza leaving the hat back. Okay.
Fingers crossed it works. That's the end of today's episode. Rocha, as always, thank you for being here with me on a Monday. Ellis, thank you so much for being here. And again, happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. And I got a lot of fun stuff in the oven right now that I get to announce soon. Hopefully by Comic-Con at the stand-up show. And I taped the special. I'm taping some other cool things right now. Just did another interview with Comedy Central that's going to be out there. So a lot of other surprises coming soon. So stay tuned to Mark Ellis Live.
I like the sound of that. Adam, Dorian, thank you guys so much for all your hard work, and to everybody out there watching the show, thank you. Do you want another thank you? Like and share this episode, and then tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. PT Live for a brand new one.